Hi guys and ladies. That right there is exactly what you want to do if you do not want to get any dates. Anyway, my name is Jason, also known as Tabiasobi, and recently I got this box in the mail that I wasn't expecting. So I looked at who sent it, and lo and behold, that's actually pretty promising. So let's take a look at what's inside. Look at that! It is the NES Classic Edition, or Nintendo Entertainment System Classic Edition, or NES Classic Edition, depending on your pronunciation preferences, particularly during your childhood. So speaking of childhood, I'm actually remembering a lot of things just from looking at this right now. You know, just look at that. Check it out. It's the box right there. It's like a miniature replica of the original Nintendo Entertainment System. And so just looking at this box right now, I'm remembering so many things. It's also like sort of encouraging me to satisfy certain urges, like doing this. Wonder if it'll work now. So yeah, so this is the NES Classic Edition, and as you can see, it looks just like the original Nintendo Entertainment System, except smaller, of course, and it comes with 30 games, which are shown here. Well, some of them are shown here in the back, and let's see what it says here. You got Balloon Fight, Bubble Bobble, Castlevania, the first one, Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest, which is the first game, I believe, that used bloody tears, which is probably my favorite Castlevania theme of all time. And so we got that. There's Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong Jr., Double Dragon 2: The Revenge, Dr. Mario, Excite Bike, the first Final Fantasy, Galaga, of course. I played a ton of that. Ghosts and Goblins, Gradius, one of my favorite shooter games from that time. Ice Climber. I used to play this with a classmate of mine in high school. Every time after school, you know, we'd play this. Kid Icarus, Kirby's Adventure, Mario Brothers, not to be confused with Super Mario Brothers, which is also included here, by the way. Mega Man 2, which is arguably like the best NES Mega Man game for hardcore fans, I guess. Metroid, Ninja Gaiden, which when I was playing in the Philippines was Ninja Ryukenden. Oh man, they don't have part 2. That was my favorite. But it also has Pac-Man, Punch-Out featuring Mr. Dream, which of course people know that Mr. Dream was the replacement name for Mike Tyson, because it used to be called Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. And then Tyson got into some legal troubles and in comes Mr. Dream. Star Tropics, Super C. Now that's a curious choice. I'd assume they would have the original Contra here, but they chose Super C. Super Mario Brothers, of course, and Super Mario Brothers 2, as well as Super Mario Brothers 3. Tecmo Bowl, the game that made Bo Jackson famous? Or is it the game that Bo Jackson made famous? Legend of Zelda, and of course Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. So, yeah, that's a pretty good selection, huh? Why don't we go ahead and take a look at what's inside the box? Alright, so let us get started with the unboxing. And I'm not wearing my glasses, I probably should. While we're doing this, just a few notes as well from Nintendo regarding this product. You get several display options for one. One is like a CRT line scan effect that tries to sort of duplicate the look that you got when you were playing these using the old TV systems. There's also a 4:3 mode, it seems. 4:3 display mode, and that one provides you a clean look, it says, that adheres to the original aspect ratio used by the NES. And then the third display option is called Pixel Perfect Mode. And that one says every pixel is shown as a perfect square, providing the most accurate representation of the games as they were originally designed. So yeah, you got that. Of course, this is slated to come out November 11th for $59.99, which I thought is a pretty good cheap price. I expected it to be more than that because it involves some hardware, but yeah, that's surprisingly cheaper than I thought it was going to be. So what do we have here? Yeah, so this actually reminds me of some of the old packaging for older Nintendo games, you know, back when they would include manuals and all that stuff with games. It's sort of reminiscent of those times, because I remember they would add like Nintendo Power subscriptions and stuff like that. So you get this, which is like a poster. Oh, look at that. It's the light gun. There you go. Yeah, which shows Duck Hunt, which is kind of ironic because, of course, we don't have Duck Hunt with this system because of the absence of the light gun. Oh, is that Rob right there? Yeah, so. And you get the health and safety information. It also actually came with one of these point redemption packets or flyers. Yeah, so you could use that as well for the new My Nintendo. Gosh, I had so many points under the old system that I wasn't able to redeem. That's a shame, really. But yeah, so what do we have? Let's see. I'm always trying to be careful. Maybe I'm too extra careful. My sister says I'm too delicate sometimes. So there's the controller. And actually, while I'm talking about this, here's the cord. Because if I remember correctly, seems this was sort of, as far as issues people had with it, this was the main one. And it's pretty much the fact that the cord is too short. And yeah, because from the looks of it, it's probably about, yeah, that's less than half of what the original NES controller's cord was. And you know, even back then, that kind of cord length isn't as much of a problem because you're playing on smaller CRT TVs. But in my case, for example, I have like a huge 83-inch TV, and it's not because I'm compensating for something, but I just like to play my games on a big screen. And with a cord this short, I probably need to make some arrangements for how I connect this, just so I don't have to be like right next to the big screen. But yeah, and the cord looks different too here, like the connector. Of course. What's this? Oh, yes. It's like an AC adapter with a sort of USB type deal here. There we go. I'm gonna actually just set this aside for now. Falling. Set this aside. We know what this is. I just wanted to make sure I checked underneath as well, so I don't miss anything. There we go. So you get an HDMI connector. Sort of standard cord, really. There you go. It's another cable. Just a micro USB connector right there, and of course a regular USB connector. I really should monitor this camera. I'm not looking. So, yeah, there you go. That's what you get. Let's put this here. And here is the actual console. Look how tiny that is. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I like chibi stuff, or as they say in Japan, sometimes super deformed, or SD. And it's like, what's super deformed? That sounds terrible. But yeah, so it's like a scrunched up version of the NES, which is way bigger than this. But look at those details. It even has the sort of grill right here. Of course, this is different because the shapes are different, but you have a power button. Oh, this like pressed down? Yes, it is. I wonder why. So you have a power button and reset, and this reset is actually, well, it doubles as a home button, so no matter what game you're playing, it'll boot you back to the menu, but at the same time, your progress in whatever game you're playing is also saved. And I believe they say that you can have up to 4 like save points or restore points when you press the reset button for each game. Let me just check the literature real quick. Yeah, games can be saved at any time using suspend points. At any point during gameplay, simply press the console's reset button to return to the home menu and save a suspend point that will let you pick up right where you left off. Up to 4 suspend points can be saved per game. Yeah, because I remember, like, for example, for Mega Man at one point, you had to like put passwords and stuff like that. So like a more modern save point would certainly be nice to have. Yeah. So this thing does not open. But yeah, so here's the micro USB connector for this right there, and I'm sure this should plug here like so. Yeah, and then this. You know what? Let's just go all the way. What the heck is wrong with me? Like childproof. Which is perfect because sometimes I act like a child, so yeah, there you go. Plug this sucker in. There's the HDMI. Interestingly, it's reversed or upside down. I wonder why. There you go. And then obviously you have an option for a second controller, but you'll have to buy that one separately. Ka-ching! Yeah, so there you go, look at that. It's so cute. Ugh. I might need to make up space next to my consoles. So right now that's like a Wii U, PS4, PS3, Xbox One, and Xbox 360. I think I still have my Wii connected too. But it's small enough to be easy to fit in there, but at the same time also this cord is kind of short. I have to think how I want to do this. So yeah, there you go. A look at what you get with the Nintendo Entertainment System Classic Edition. Now, personally for me, I have really fond memories of the Nintendo Entertainment System. It was the next system I owned after the Atari, is it 2600? But yeah, like I had an aunt, borrowed it from a friend, and we didn't return it for a while, let's just say. But like, well, actually, like the one we borrowed at first was a Famicom system, which is the Japanese version. And one time my uncle here from the US came home to visit, and as a treat, he was going to buy us a Famicom, but then when he saw it, he thought it looked like flimsy, and of course it was different from this one. It's like, oh, I'll get you the American version, that one's probably better. And lo and behold, I had the NES US version just a few short weeks or a month or so later. And like personally, I did like the look of the NES better, but it was also a challenge for me because, you know, living in the Philippines, the games that we got were actually the Japanese version of games, and so I ended up having to track down this adapter called the Honeybee, which allowed me to, you know, make the game cartridges for the Japanese versions like the same sort of length to fit in the Nintendo Entertainment System, and also the connectors were different, so that sort of fixed that problem as well. And the problem, or the main issue I had with the US version of the NES was the spring-loading mechanic to it, because obviously the Famicom was just a top-down feeding system, and it might look plain, but at the same time you have fewer moving parts, which means less chance of stuff to break, which kind of is what happened to my NES, or US NES, towards the end of its life. I started having problems with the loading system, and sometimes the games just wouldn't load, and no matter how hard you like blow the connectors. But yeah, in fact, when I finally got to the US as a teenager, one of the first things I did was buy a new NES, and at that time it was sort of the NES Lite or whatever it was called back then, and it was a smaller, kind of flimsier looking one, but it was like a top loading system as well, and it had fewer issues. But yeah, overall I had really good memories with the system, played a ton of games with it, and so my hope is that, well, I mean, one of the things I wish they did was put some expandability in this thing in terms of being able to load up other games, because there are certainly a ton more games I wish I could play. Like Ninja Gaiden 2 or Ninja Ryukenden 2, which is probably my all-time favorite game like ever. And in fact, like in my hometown, I was the first person to finish Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2 on the NES. And back then I actually didn't own a copy of the game. We used to have to go to, like, it's not an arcade, but it's this small sort of space where there were a ton of CRT TVs and Famicoms that you can use, and you had to pay like 1 peso for 5 minutes of gaming, and so I used to do that. And I remember when I was playing Ninja Gaiden 2, I actually had a huge crowd behind me and watch me play the game from start to finish. And I was the first person to do it in my hometown. I had a huge crowd. Made me feel like a star. So yeah, I wish there was some expansion options for this. It would have been nice, because obviously you can just go the emulation route, whether it be PC or even the Wii if you've hacked it. But at the same time, I certainly want to support the developers of the game, so I wish that was an option. Barring that, maybe, hey, if it does sell well enough, which I have a feeling it might, because it's just I'm getting a lot of positive reactions when I talk to people about it. Maybe they'll release a Super Nintendo Entertainment System classic version as well, and that one would be good too. So yeah, let me know about your thoughts about the NES Classic System in the comments. As always, thanks for watching this video. Once again, this is Jason, also known as Tabiasobi, signing out.